Welcome everyone. Today we will discuss about chemical reaction of metals with water. So today our topic is what happens when metals react with water. Activity 3.10 Caution. This activity needs the teacher's assistance. Collect the samples of the same metals as in activity 3.9. Put small pieces of the samples separately in beakers half filled with cold water. Which metals reacted with cold water? Arrange them in the increasing order of their reactivity with cold water. Did any metal produce fire on water? Does any metal start floating after some time? Put the metals that did not react with cold water in beakers half filled with hot water. For the metals that did not react with hot water, arrange the apparatus as shown in figure 3.3 and observe their reaction with steam. Which metals did not react even with steam? Arrange the metals in the decreasing order of reactivity with water. So basically this activity is about the chemical reaction of metals with H2O. Now that H2O, it can be cold water, it can be hot water, or it can even be steam. So basically this we are doing to test about the reactivity of different metal samples. So we have to first of all collect the same metal samples as we have taken for activity 3.9. Then first of all, we have to test these metal samples with cold water whether any chemical reaction is taking place or not, or if any chemical reaction is taking place, then which of the metal sample is showing chemical reaction with cold water. So here put small pieces of the samples separately in beakers half filled with cold water. So whatever metal samples you are having, that you have to put in beakers separately half filled with cold water. Which metals reacted with cold water? Arrange them in the increasing order of their reactivity with cold water. So if you remember that in the given metal samples we are having sodium, and apart from sodium we are also having some other metal samples which are of different reactivities. So the answer of this question is that sodium reacts with cold water. Did any metal produce fire on water? Now what happens, you know that sodium is highly reactive in nature. That is the reason that sodium reacts with water, but still reaction of sodium with cold water also is so violent, or it reacts so vigorously with cold water that one of the product which is getting formed is hydrogen gas, and that hydrogen gas, when it is released when sodium reacts with cold water, that this is so exothermic in nature that hydrogen which is released, it catches fire. So that is why the question which is asking here, that did any metal produce fire on water? Yes, the metal is sodium, it produces fire on water. So why do we see fire? It is because we know that hydrogen is a flammable gas, and reaction of sodium with cold water is so vigorous in nature that a large amount of heat is produced. So because of the release of a very large amount of heat energy, hydrogen which is produced as one of the product, it catches fire. Does any metal start floating after some time? So the answer of this question is calcium. Now the point is that calcium, it reacts with water which is water at room temperature, or the tap water you can say. It do not react when the water is very cold. So the answer of this question is that if you want, you can also include calcium, that it also reacts with cold water, but generally the water, if it is very cold, it is not going to react. It should be tap water or the water at room temperature. I think they are taking tap water also in the category of cold water only. So does any metal starts floating after some time? So the answer of this question is calcium. Calcium is that metal which starts floating after some time. Now you must be thinking that why it is happening with calcium. The reason is that generally we know that all metals, they are having high density. Calcium also is having density more than water, but when calcium reacts with water, it also produces hydrogen gas. Actually, when any metal reacts with water or steam, it is producing hydrogen gas as one of the product. So in case of calcium, when it reacts with water, it also produces hydrogen gas. Then this hydrogen gas in the form of bubbles, it just sticks to the surface of the calcium metal, and that is why it starts floating. Put the metals that did not react with cold water in beakers half filled with hot water. So apart from sodium and calcium, no other metal is that which is reacting with cold water. So after testing the metal samples with cold water, we have to test these metal samples apart from calcium and sodium. We have to test the other metal samples with hot water. So for the metals, sorry, so this point put the metals that did not react with cold water in beakers half filled with hot water. So then you have to test these metal samples like aluminium, copper, iron, zinc, lead. So many metal samples are given that you have to test with hot water. Then next one, again you have to test that which metal is reacting with hot water. If the metal is not reacting with hot water, then the next step is to test these metals with steam. Now to uh, observe the reaction of metals with steam is not very easy like we have done for cold water and hot water. So that is why we have to arrange some apparatus. So for the metals that did not react with hot water, arrange the apparatus as shown in figure 3.3 and observe their reaction with steam. Which metals did not react even with steam? So after this you will find that there are still some metals which do not react even with steam. Arrange the metals in the decreasing order of reactivity with water. So first of all, let us see the apparatus which is shown here. As you can see, this apparatus, it is set so that we can observe the reaction of metals with steam, those metals which do not react even with hot water. Now metals react with water and produce a metal oxide and hydrogen gas. Metal oxides that are soluble in water dissolve in it to further form metal hydroxide. So those metal oxides, like we discussed in the last activity, that there are very few metal oxides which are soluble in water. So those metal oxides which are soluble in water, they will react with water and they will form metal hydroxide. So in some of the cases we will find that we are having metal hydroxide as the final product, whereas in some of the cases we will be having metal oxide only as the final product apart from hydrogen gas. So metal oxides that are soluble in water dissolve in it to further form metal hydroxide, but all metals do not react with water. So you can see some general chemical equations are given: metal plus water, metal oxide plus hydrogen. So this is the first step. Now that metal oxide which is soluble in water, they are only forming metal hydroxide. So we know that sodium oxide and potassium oxide are two such metal oxides which are soluble in water. So that is why they are further producing metal hydroxide, which again is soluble in water, and that is why we call them as alkalis. So it is given that metals like potassium and sodium react violently with cold water. Now I told you that why sodium and potassium they react violently with cold water. The reason that violently term is used because hydrogen gas which is produced in this reaction, it catches fire as this reaction is highly exothermic in nature. In case of sodium and potassium, the reaction is so violent and exothermic that the evolved hydrogen immediately catches fire. So you can see the reaction of sodium and potassium metal with water, and you can see also that here the final product which they have shown is their hydroxide. So you are getting potassium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas as the final product plus heat energy. So heat energy on the product side, it is showing that this reaction is exothermic in nature. The reaction of calcium with water is less violent. The heat evolved is not sufficient for the hydrogen to catch fire. So in case of calcium, what happened? Calcium reacts with water, but this reaction is not violent in nature. The reason is that because in this reaction also hydrogen gas is producing, but this reaction is very less exothermic, and that is why the energy which is released in this reaction is not sufficient for hydrogen gas to catch fire. So for calcium also you can see that calcium, when it reacts with water, you are getting calcium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Now calcium starts floating because the bubbles of hydrogen gas formed stick to the surface of the metal, like I have said already told you about this. Magnesium does not react with cold water. It reacts with hot water to form magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen. Now see, this is important point because we have seen that sodium and potassium they react with cold water, and even they are reacting with cold water, the reaction is very violent in nature. Calcium, it reacts with cold water or tap water, that means water at room temperature, but the reaction is not violent in nature. Magnesium, it do not react with cold water or water at room temperature. Magnesium only reacts with hot water. So that is why here you have to remember the metal which reacts with hot water is magnesium. So it reacts with hot water to form magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen. It also starts floating. It also starts floating due to the bubbles of hydrogen gas sticking to its surface. So calcium is the metal which starts floating because bubbles of hydrogen gas stick to the surface of the metal. Same way magnesium is also one such metal which starts floating after this reaction because hydrogen gas, the bubbles of hydrogen gas, it also sticks to its surface. Then metals like aluminium, iron and zinc do not react either with cold or hot water. So aluminium, iron and zinc are those metals which react only with steam. They do not react even with hot water, but they react with steam to form the metal oxide and hydrogen. Now as you can see in these cases of aluminium and iron, you are getting their oxide, that means aluminium oxide and iron oxide as the final product. It is because their oxides are not soluble in water, and that is why you are getting aluminium oxide and iron oxide as the final product and not their hydroxides. So you can see the reaction that aluminium metal, when it reacts with water, you are getting aluminium oxide and hydrogen gas. Same way when iron metal reacts with when it reacts with steam, then you are getting iron oxide and hydrogen gas. So in for aluminium also it is the steam with which it is reacting. It is because they have given H2O, but if you will see the physical state of H2O, it is G. That means this H2O, it is in the gaseous state, which is steam. So this is very important point. So in these two particular reactions, you need to show that H2O which you are using is steam, and that you can either show by writing G beside it, which is showing its gaseous state, or if you are not showing it like this, then you can write steam below H2O, but you need to mention anyhow that these metals, they are reacting with steam. Then the next category is metals such as lead, copper, silver and gold do not react with water at all, not even with steam. So these are the three categories or four categories you have got. Some metals reacting with cold water, some metal reacting with hot water, some are reacting with steam, and there are still some metals which do not even react with steam. So on the basis of this, you can write the reactivity of these metals. So easily for sodium and potassium, you can write that they are highly reactive in nature. After that calcium and then magnesium, and after that you are having three metals aluminium, iron and zinc which react with steam. And after that you are still having some metals which are not reacting at all. So like that you can write their reactivity of the given metal sample on the basis of their reaction with H2O. So this is about today's topic, which is chemical reaction of metals with water. With water we can say, or with H2O, which can be steam also. Thank you.